Everyone can call me Tatya. I'm a U.S. Army veteran who served as a combat medic during the earlier parts of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. I enlisted not long after 9/11 as a single mother, actually. At the time, my daughter's father and I were still technically married, but separated. And that little detail let me slip past the no single parent soldier policy. Now, technically, single parents could enlist if they jumped through a circus worth of legal hoops, like handing their kid over to an official guardian with custody papers and power of attorney documents signed in blood. That wasn't my case. My mom just took physical custody of my daughter. No notarized papers, no legal trail, just me classified as married in Uncle Sam's eyes. Why does this matter? Because it shows exactly how voluntary the U.S. military really is. Sure, there's no draft, no conscription, but they don't need one. The system is built to funnel people in without forcing them. Most soldiers who enlist don't come from cushy suburbs with parents ready to foot a Harvard tuition bill. They come from working class, struggling, or outright poor backgrounds. They're not walking into the recruiter's office because they had a sudden craving for discipline and push-ups. They're there because rent's due, college is unaffordable, and career options look like flipping burgers or stocking shelves at 2 a.m. for 60 hours a week and still not being able to survive. That is why the military swoops in like a used car salesman. Step right up and get a GI Bill and possibly a cash bonus, college money, healthcare, housing, and a paycheck. What a deal! Yay! And it works, because compared to scraping by in dead-end jobs, the military looks like a golden ticket, especially to us from poor backgrounds. Stable income, housing, medical care, basically socialism with an assault rifle. And let's be real, it's not easy to get kicked out. You have to be a complete disaster, like can't tie your own boots and competent, or you're constantly insubordinate, or you've got serious physical mental health issues that make you totally non-deployable. Even then, they'll often try to keep you around. Why? Because bodies are bodies. When there's a war to fight, the standards get mighty flexible. Sometimes the military even doubles as a get-out-of-free-jail card. Plenty of judges during the early years of OIF and OEF would give some 18-year-old who boosted a car caught with a dime bag of weed a choice: jail or enlistment. Enough of them chose enlistment. We had quite a few of those guys when I was in. Of course, there are true believers and pure patriots, or the less savory nationalists. And even some of the marginalized groups mentioned, they often join for economic reasons and because they have some sense of patriotism too. And actually, yes, even a handful of sadistic psychos who just like to harm people and make them suffer sneak in too. But actually, true psychopaths are not only pretty rare, but they actually make terrible soldiers, at least by American standards. They disobey orders, act impulsively, and eventually commit war crimes you can't sweep under the rug. And when that happens, it makes for really bad PR, and the United States military does not like bad PR. Let's just put it that way. So where was I in all this? I was the broke and generally patriotic combo pack. Serving was a way to climb out of economic quicksand, and let's just say the patriotism shine wore off real quick, especially when I left the military, which I will explain in some future video perhaps. Here's the reality. The U.S. brags about having an all-volunteer military, but what it actually has is an economic draft. You don't need conscription if you can keep enough of your population hovering just above desperation. When people are one paycheck away from eviction, drowning in debt, or stuck in jobs with no health insurance, guess what starts looking pretty damn appealing? A uniform and a guaranteed paycheck. So here's the kicker. This economic draft doesn't begin when kids turn 18. Oh no, the military plays the long game. Recruitment starts in elementary school. Picture this. You're 9 years old, eating your rectangle pizza in the cafeteria when soldiers in uniform roll in with combat boots and Humvees parked outside. They let you try on gear, hand out stickers and pencils, pose for pictures. To a kid, it's like meeting G.I. Joe in real life. They don't show you the part where you're cleaning blood out of that same Humvee after a roadside bomb. Nope, it's all smiles and look how cool we are. By the time you hit high school, the recruitment pipeline cranks the volume up. Enter JROTC, the Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps. Sounds prestigious, right? Schools pitch it as a leadership and citizenship program. Translation, it normalizes uniforms, marching in formation, and saying yes, sir, before you've even figured out slope intercepts. My personal favorite. Not really. And in a lot of underfunded schools, especially poor and minority ones, JROTC isn't even optional. You wanted art? Too bad. Budget's gone. Here's a uniform. Now go outside and practice drill and ceremony in the parking lot. And who teaches it? Not certified educators, but retired military personnel whose entire worldview was shaped in uniform. Guess what path they're nudging you toward? Meanwhile, recruiters set up shop in high school cafeterias like sharks circling the lunch line. They hand out free pizza, promise adventure and travel, and dangle college money like a carrot. They don't exactly lead with, by the way, you might end up fighting in a war no one can explain clearly that is based on utter bullshit lies. The military calls this informed choice. Yeah, right. When you've been groomed since age 9 to see soldiers as heroes and JROTC as success, how free is that choice really? Thanks for listening.